Sunderbans is one of the largest mangrove delta and the mangrove forest of the world on the Ganga-Brahmaputra Delta, and it's a unique habitat that has been recognized by UNESCO as the World Heritage Site. Sunderbans is spread across two countries, India and Bangladesh, and one-third of Sunderbans falls within India, and the remaining two-thirds is restricted to the neighboring country of Bangladesh. Both parts of the Sunderbans are exclusively important biodiversity hotspot with rich flora and fauna, and the flora represents halophytic vegetation and mangrove vegetation, representing plants which produce pneumatophores that grow above the surface of the muddy soil with pores in it to help them exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide during inundation of this delta during high tide and recession of the water during the tide. They are raised up. This unique habitat is home to one of the most famous tiger subspecies, currently the Royal Bengal tiger or Indian tiger, which is referred to as Panthera tigris. Furthermore, saltwater crocodiles, various turtles, poisonous snakes, as well as deer, boar, monkeys, and other wide spectrum of birds, invertebrates, various species of insects, mollusks, echinoderms, and other species of fishes harbor this entire unique estuarine ecosystem, which is partly salt and partly sweet water habitat, and is exclusively important for the survival of the hinterland. Period. This is one of the most important tourist sites both in India and Bangladesh, and is visited by a large number of tourists everywhere, particularly for looking at the crocodiles and the Royal Bengal tiger. To catch a glimpse of the king of the forest is a mesmerizing and monumental day of anybody's life. But unfortunately, what is concerning about Sundarban ecosystem is the rapid degradation of the mangrove vegetation due to both natural and anthropogenic factors. The mangrove vegetation has been working as a net or as a wall against the cyclones that generate on the Bay of Bengal, and many of them are extremely turbulent and violent. While passing from Bay of Bengal into the hinterlands of West Bengal and in Bangladesh, the speed of the wind is cut down by the thick mangrove vegetation and acts as a protective cover. But unfortunately, due to human settlements in this inhospitable area where human habitation increased following partition because there was no other place to put the refugees together, has led to an environmental catastrophe in some extent. The overpopulation of forested belts in and around the various tidal creeks and channels outside the core area and the buffer areas have resulted in severe human-animal conflict. Attacks by tigers, crocodiles, snakes on people who venture into the forest to collect spawns of fishes and collect crabs and prawns and shrimps, as well as collecting wild honey, is predominantly subjected to, or in other words, extremely vulnerable to attack by the wildlife. And it is unfortunate to mention that on the Bengal part, on the West Bengal part of the Sundarban, there is a village which is named as the village of the widows, because every family on that island has a male member that they have lost to the tigers or to the shark attacks or to the crocodile attacks. The saltwater crocodiles are extremely large, some of them reaching heights of 15 to 20 feet and extremely aggressive. So any unattended person by accidentally moving into crocodile habitats are getting attacked, and also people who are going deep into the forest both legally and illegally to harvest major and minor forest products are subjected to attacks both by the Royal Bengal tigers down living here and also dying due to snake attacks. Poaching is also quite common in this area, although due to the monitoring of the forest services as well as the border security forces, it has reduced to a certain extent in the recent years. But till this premier habitat and a prime tourist attraction center is still underdeveloped, and a vast section of these island tidal creek channels are not suitable for human habitation. The increase of human population pressure in and around these islands have been impacting the forest, because many of these people are extremely poor and are dependent on the forest for their daily sustenance. So the collection of woods and branches for fuel, fertilizers, fodder from the forest has been depleting the forest extensively. The rise in captive fisheries and fish farming and prawn farming, crab farming has extensively been done in areas that were covered by mangrove vegetation. Extensive harvest of mangrove vegetation without replacement until very recently has been a menace to the Sundarban area, as also some natural factors like the change in the courses of the river are bringing in more salt on the Bengal part of the Sundarban and depositing salts on the islands, removing halophytic vegetation because the salt tolerance is beyond their level, and they're opening what is called bore mark on the forest, which are regarded as salt pans. And the muddy areas makes it extremely difficult to travel and navigate within Sundarban other than the wildlife down in here. Several times external wildlife has been able to be introduced here, like the deers and the boars for the tigers to feed upon. But animals which are introduced from outside Sundarbans do not really survive very well in this hostile environment, and are usually captured by the tigers and other primary predators living in this ecosystem, including a large number of species of monitor lizards too. So what happens is this, that there is a deficiency of food, and the animals usually move and venture into the nearby village areas to collect food, and there is a repeated human-animal conflict here that has gone significantly bad over time. The number of tigers in both the West Bengal and the Bangladesh part of the Sundarban has increased over time due to improved conservation efforts from both India and Bangladesh government, but much needs to be done, as this is an hostile area and it's not suitable for human habitation. The inundation of the soil of the agronomic fields results in salt addition to these fields, making them very much unsuitable for crop production. And as a consequence, people are more dependent on fisheries and adjoining activities. The criminal activities in and around this area has also been increasing because of lack of employment, and has been a concern for the local government with respect to the law and order maintenance. Thus, this is a very unique ecosystem that brings human and animals together, and it is time for us to think about protecting this unique heritage biodiversity hotspot of India and Bangladesh by jointly working together, is because once this ecosystem is destroyed, so is the life of premier cities like Kolkata, Dhaka and other adjoining districts that stretch beyond Sundarbans to central part of Bangladesh and West Bengal in India. It is our responsibility, therefore, to educate and aware and make people sensitive about the nature of the sensitive, fragile nature of the ecosystems of the mangrove forest, and work together as stakeholders in protection of this forest together. Tourism needs to be controlled because abundant tourism in and around this region has also been causing problem. Shoykot Kumar Basu, Kalinga Chronicle TV, Kolkata Bureau.